Live local talk. It's Tesh Matters on the voice of the Tesh. Kane Radio, AM 1240.
And along with AM 1240, 107.5 FM. Happy to be joined by Dr. Kelly Fishman as we get ready for the Winter Olympics. Dr. Fishman wanting to make sure your dog or cat or pet are healthy and ready to face, avoid injury and, just in general be in better health. Dr. Fishman, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Appreciate the opportunity. And, I living in South Louisiana, don't think as much about cold weather affecting pets, but, just ran through our forecast. And we do have some overnight lows that may be near freezing this week, but concerns about your pets in wintertime and maybe being more prone to injury. I never really thought about that before.
Yeah, so I actually see injuries spike in the winter. And even if you're in a more mild climate like Louisiana, you certainly have to worry about cold paws on concrete or a little bit of frost, especially first thing in the morning. And some of the other things that you may not be aware of are not necessarily on even like the coldest days, are that these subtle changes in some of the barometric pressure that we experience in Louisiana or even here in Pennsylvania, where I'm located, can make your dog be a little bit more creaky and stiff.
There you go.
Especially if you have a senior, especially with a senior dog or cat, their arthritis is going to flare up, even if it's 40-degree weather and with these changes. So they are affected.
And I would imagine while you want to certainly take caution in the wintertime, throughout the year you want to keep them healthy so when winter does roll around, they're ready to face it.
Yeah, that's right, Jeff. Keeping your dog fit throughout the year is a really important thing. It's not just for dog athletes who are doing agility or hunting dogs, but even all of our pets, should stay in shape, should have a fitness routine, which involves strength training and cardiovascular fitness and nutrition to feed the body.
There you go. Are we talking mainly about dogs? Because I have an indoor cat, and this is my first time owning a cat, especially an indoor cat. And I have a treadmill, and I've kind of played with the idea of getting the cat to go, but I feel it's more traumatizing than the health benefit it might have.
Yeah, it definitely depends on the cat. Certainly if you had a Bengal, I know that those cats love to do physical things and they would be more open to doing a treadmill. I also have a cat and he does not do any physical activity. If you're really into it, you can get a laser pointer and maybe an interactive cat toy and play around that way. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm talking mostly about our dogs. Our cats are wonderful, but they are not the athletes our dogs are.
Understood. So what are some of the things we want to be doing to keep our pets in good shape?
So, when I was talking about fitness and doing exercise with your dog, I wasn't joking. You could actually do things like a plank, which is really good for their core. You could do dog push-ups and dog squats. And I teach that to my pet parents. I have someone who just came in with a 3-year-old Labrador. And we know that these dogs are starting to brew arthritis because of a lot of joint problems. And the pet parent of this lab, they wanted to know what they could do to keep their dog fit and healthy throughout their adult years. And then when he became a senior, they didn't want him to slow down. They didn't want him to have debilitating arthritis. So I taught him all those strength exercises that I just talked about. I told him the importance about doing a cardiovascular strength, like they could do things at home like jumping or doing fast trots and runs, things like that. Also, again, nutrition was super important for me to talk about because that dog was predisposed to arthritis. So I gave him a lot of good evidence-based ideas for supplements like fish oil or omega-3 fatty acids, things like fortitropin, which helps to build muscle, things like type 2 collagen. So those are all those kind of discussions that I had to try to like maintain the fitness, cardiovascular health, and the body throughout the winter and then throughout the dog's entire life.
You mentioned, the supplements, but obviously healthy eating has got to be key to much of this too.
Healthy eating is key. So we all know that feeding your dog a protein source from an animal, so animal-based protein source, and not necessarily plants, but animal-based protein, high amounts of that, high amounts of good, healthy fats like omega-3 fatty acids again, or even sometimes MCT oil or medium-chain triglyceride oil, are really, really good for health. So foundationally, healthy eating is really, really good, but sometimes we can't do it. Sometimes we have to feed kibble because we're busy or that's all we can afford. So I really encourage my pet parents who do have to make those choices to just supplement. They could supplement with some of the supplements that I already discussed, the fish oil, the fortitropin, which is a great muscle supplement found in something called MYOS PET, the collagens. You can supplement your food with those types of things just to kind of round out whatever your dog's needs are. And then at the very least, you could do things like adding fresh food toppers. So I love adding, like green beans, broccoli. The dog loves them, and it helps to add a little bit of fiber, which is really good. You could also do things like adding protein sources like chicken or some ground beef. As long as your dog tolerates it and doesn't get an upset stomach, it's usually okay to add.
There you go. So again, and how do you know maybe when you're feeding your dog too much, and maybe cat as well, but or not enough?
Yeah, that's a great question. So first of all, it seems like our dogs, especially, gain weight during the winter. The days are shorter. They're staying inside to become couch potatoes. They lose muscle. They, gain weight. And so it's an important thing to know that if that is your dog, to cut back on the calories a little bit in the winter. Just know that that's gonna happen, and you can cut down. Typically a quarter of amount of a cup is what we suggest. But if people are ever curious to see what a dog's weight should be, they can actually look up what's something called a body condition score on Google, and they can see what a skinny dog looks like. Now, cats, being a cat owner like yourself, our kitties, especially the indoor ones, are super prone to gaining weight. We tend to feed them too much. Probably 50 years ago, most cats were outside, wandering around, burning lots of calories, hunting throughout the day. But our indoor cats, they're staying indoor and sleeping. So we tend to a little bit overfeed them accidentally, not realizing that they really need a very small amount of calories to sustain themselves.
We don't have a lot of stairs in South Louisiana. Basements are pretty rare, so a lot of single-story homes and apartments. But I would imagine if you got access to some stairs, good for both cats and dogs to try and get them to use them.
Yeah, stairs, hill walking. I sometimes encourage people to do like intervals up hills, and it doesn't have to be, the hills of, San Francisco or like the mountains. It doesn't have to be like that. It could just be, a small little hill in your backyard. You can do some interval walking up there for back leg strength. Stairs, just like you said, are really good to train back legs as well.
One of the things I saw in your notes, we often try and get our pets to learn tricks, and one of them is to sit or stand or whatever, and that is actually a big health benefit, I guess.
Yeah, so you may not know when you're doing something like a sit to stand or a dog squat that they're building muscle in their back legs, and it's actually an exercise that we do. So if you want to turn that into an exercise, you could take it from something where like I'm just asking my dog to sit for a treat, and then taking it to I'm going to do 10 sit to stands in a row, dog a treat, do another set of 10, and I'm going to do that 2 or 3 times a week. And if you kind of do that, that's actually a great way to build muscle and maintain muscle in the back legs. And maintaining muscle in the back legs is why that's so important because that's the power to jump up into your car. That's the strength to walk up those stairs and those hills. And then also as you age, dogs tend to lose some of the muscle and get weak in their back legs first. So it's hoping to prevent some of that.
Any other things you'd want to mention about how to keep them in shape?
Well, certainly doing the exercises. And if anyone's ever curious, please visit my Instagram or social media. I try to put up videos of some of the cool dog fitness things that you could do at home. But yes, I think just realizing that this does exist. There is fitness for dogs. Our dogs 100 years ago probably were pretty active doing naturally fit things. And now in the modern age, just like all of us, we sit at computers, our dogs are sitting at home with us. And it really does them a lot of benefit to maintain muscle strength, to maintain their cardiovascular fitness, and just to stay healthy. It really is one of the best things that you could do for your dog.
Our local dog park at City Park recently added to it. It used to be just, a fenced-in area where your dog could roam. But I think it was an Eagle Scout or some organization got together and said, hey, let's have some things in there that the dogs can utilize, not just playing, but also things that I would imagine help with their physical fitness.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, a lot of those are, typically I see those, they're agility type courses. So they'll have a teeter or, other different things that agility dogs use, like a tunnel. They're great ways that we do fitness with them, and they think it's a lot of fun for them because they feel like they're playing, they're doing these fun things. So yes, certainly people should look into how to do those exercises at home.
Yeah, and if you watch these dog shows, whether it's the big one, Kennel Club, whatever the case may be, the owners. The handlers are sometimes running with the dog, and it's good exercise for you, too, if you kind of run your dog through those kind of things.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen those agility handlers, and yeah, they definitely have to be in good shape.
There you go. Anything else you want to share with us? We've got plenty of time, and certainly want to let folks know how to get in touch with you and see some of your work, but anything else you wanted to add to this?
No, I think that realizing that as our dogs are living longer, we have more senior dogs than we've ever had before. And I'm, as a veterinarian who specializes in physical rehabilitation, it's really heartbreaking when I have someone come to me with a 12-year-old dog who's slowing down, can't get up anymore. He's really painful. And I say, gosh, I wish I had seen you when your dog was 7 years old, right before things started to break down a little bit. So I really want people to know that you should start prevention for our dogs way earlier than we ever thought. And prevention means things like joint supplements. And again, everything is going to be on my website. I have Dr. Kelly's picks at my website, strutanimal.com. So if you can't remember this right now, you're driving, visit my website, strutanimal.com. I have this on there. But joint supplements, fish oil, muscle supplements, the one that I've already discussed, MYOS PET, been proven to maintain muscle in dogs. Doing those things early before your dog gets weak, starting them around middle age, which is 7 to 9 in some of our bigger dogs. In some of our bigger dogs at around 10, and some of our smaller breed dogs like our Frenchies are getting more middle-aged at 10. So starting then is the best way to make sure that you have a senior dog that's not painful, has a great quality of life, and is with you as long as possible.
When does a dog usually reach, I guess I'll use the term, full maturity?
So it depends on the breed, and we have to put it into dogs that are kind of over 50 pounds, and those are under 50 pounds. So our large breed dogs are going to reach maturity a little bit later. So that's about a year and a half. And by maturity, I mean that their body, they're as big as they're going to get. That's about a year and a half for our Labradors. And our smaller breed dogs that are under 50 pounds are, Frenchies, or dash hounds, those types of dogs, that's going to happen a little bit earlier, right about a year, or sometimes a little sooner. So that's going to be breed dependent.
All right. And how about puppies or kittens, as the case may be? What can you do for them, or do you need to worry about it at that stage?
So when you have a puppy, you can actually start fitness. But we have very specific guidelines as to when you do fitness with a puppy, what's a safe height to jump down from, what's a safe surface to do some runs on, how do you kind of safely move your body so you're not affecting your joints and kind of leading to problems later in life. So there are very specific specific guidelines for puppy fitness that people can Google, and I can throw it up on my website too, so it's a good, so much people can find it. But those do exist, and they're out there so people know, gosh, I have a puppy, he's 9 months old, I shouldn't be letting him jump out of the backseat of my giant truck right now because he's going to really hurt his joints. When he's a year and a half old, he's an adult, he's fine, he can do that. But we don't want puppies to kind of hurt themselves, so we do have age-specific guidelines.
Real good.
For our dogs.
Real good. Anything else before we let you go? And if not, certainly repeat all your contact info.
Yeah, so I'll repeat my contact info because I feel like it's already so much. So please visit my website, Strut Animal. You could remember that because a happy dog or a happy cat likes to strut, so strutanimal.com. I have my blog post on there that I update pretty regularly. I have my Dr. Kelly's picks with all my supplement information. And then I have social media. So I'm on Instagram and I'm on Facebook at strutanimal.com, or you could just search Dr. Kelly Fishman at Strut Animal.
Real good. The last name Fishman, did that lead into becoming a vet at all?
No.
And have you ever been asked that?
Yeah.
There you go. Well, I have that information, contact information. If anybody needs it repeated, be happy to share it if they only remember not my phone number, but certainly happy to pass that information along. Dr. Fishman, thanks for joining us today, and best of luck going forward.
Thanks, Jeff. Have a great day.